How you doing, Nate?
I'm good. How you doing, Jose?
I'm fabulous. You're looking good, man. You got a fresh haircut.
Monday. Monday got
Yeah.
one.
You know what I love? I love that they call you Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf with
LaBeouf.
muscles. That's great.
Who would you be?
Who would I be? Danny DeVito.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say it, but not say it.
Or who's the guy that played what the hell's that guy's name? Hervé Villachez from Fantasy Island.
I don't know that.
Remember the little guy, the playing boss?
Oh, way, way back. Okay. I was
Yeah,
thinking it was something recent. Yeah.
yeah,
You're showing your age now.
yeah. I
You're like,
am.
remember the Dunkin' Donuts commercial? Time to make the donuts?
Yeah, that's an oldie. So we're here a little early. We're waiting on our boy Mike O'Hearn, the Titan. So this is exciting. This guy is awesome. We got a lot of questions, a lot of stupid questions, but we're gonna ask him anyway, just because Mike loves stupid questions. Mike is a Mr. Universe, natural Mr. Universe. Um, he's a American Gladiator. He was on the Battle Dome, which lasted like 3 seasons. That was awesome. I met Mike through my brother over 20 years ago. He trained with my brother for years, and Mike is a beast. Like I told you in the gym the other day, people don't understand the gravity of how big this guy is until you stand next to him. You know, he's gigantic. He's every bit of 6'3". You know, when used to let himself get heavier, he was 280, 285.
That's something coming from you, right? This isn't an average person saying Mike's a big guy. This is somebody that's been to the Olympia saying Mike's a big guy.
Yeah. I've seen everyone, and Mike is just massive and athletic and strong, stupid strong. And some of the things that I talk to you about is he's been training this heavy, this crazy for 30, 35 years. And, you know, knock on wood, the guy's never sustained a major injury. His joints are still, I mean, he's in his 50s now, and he's still pushing ridiculous weight. You know, so for all you people that think he's doing tons of this and tons of that, you know, we can try to address this to a certain degree with him. You know, you don't just take steroids and become strong. Like, your body is either meant to do this weight or you're not. Most guys that get strong from just taking drugs get injuries. Their joints break down. They're, you know, um, someone like Mike, he is gigantic. He's meant to lift these weights. And I mean, if he were as big as like an Olympia guy, he'd be like 340, ripped like this. He's not. He's 255, shredded. You know, he's 280 in real good shape, but he's real tall too. So, you know, do I think it's attainable? I do. Call me naive. You
I
know,
think especially when you look back at how Mike looked at it as a kid,
yeah,
right? It's just even as a teenager, he was bodybuilding as a teenager, you could see the potential.
yeah,
And the pic that you sent me the other day of what his son's looking like at 1 year old, I've
yeah,
never seen anything like it.
yeah. He's my height at one.
There's
Yeah,
just something in those genetics, but the kid already had a shoulder separation, tricep popping out.
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, there is some major genetics involved in this. You know, and I certainly don't want to harp on that. If he wants to talk about it, he will. But there are just so many haters, which I don't really understand. It's like the guy, well, I do understand actually. The guy's good. Imagine if you look like Mike O'Hearn, how many people would hate you?
Yeah.
You know. Luckily, I don't look like Mike O'Hearn, and only a few people hate me. Um, so Mike's a whole different ball game.
He's just been going for so long. I know when I first got into bodybuilding, he had already been on magazine covers for God knows how long. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's so I don't know if there's anyone out there that is into bodybuilding that hasn't seen his physique on a cover. And it's just, and I mean, the fact that he's 51 now and could still be on these covers and looks every bit as good as when he was 21. It's just so crazy. It's so timeless. Not to mention, you mentioned Battle Dome, American Gladiators. There's some real athleticism with doing those things. You and I might kid ourselves being, you kill it in the gym and you think you can do anything, that superhuman feeling.
Yeah.
You find out real quick, if you run one of those shows where you have to move laterally or, actually be able to wrestle someone and take them down, how quickly you pull something. And I watched a video today, he's jumping on now, where he talked about wrestling a contestant and he broke the guy's arm. Just on one of those shows, just by accident, just broke the guy's arm. And the guy was like, thank you for not taking it easy on me. Was like, thank you, sir. May I have another? All right, I'm going to let him in right now. The big unveiling here.
Big Mike. We're waiting on you, brother.
There he is.
There he is. Look at that guy.
No sound yet.
I love the American flag. We should get into a little politics with this guy. But he is out there in California. He's about as liberal as it gets out there.
I can hear you, Playboy.
Here we go. So, Big Mike, this is my friend Nate Tello. Nate's the magic behind this.
Hey, Mike.
I've met and seen Nate before somewhere, right?
Yeah, at the Olympia, at the Arnold. He's always
OnlyFans account or something.
He's not one of those.
Oh, we're starting out like that, huh?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'm going to the tough questions now. I was going to lob the softball questions. Now we're going there.
I'm glad you subscribed, Mike.
Well, I gotta support.
Good man.
What's
Did you
up,
already?
Playboy?
Did you already train this morning?
I did.
Yeah. What time? 4:30.
Or 4 o'clock, little leg day.
Good for you. Any good numbers?
On leg press, we do this over-exaggerated depth to where we take it all the way down and pause.
Okay.
And so it's just an unrealistic stretch to it and more hamstring dominant.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. So
you don't pile the weight on for that.
8 plates is the most because you're coming to a dead stop mostly at the bottom of the pins. And then we got a couple MMA fighters and pro football players. So I want to make sure they're safe. And then I go a little stupid. So it's good. It's fun. It's changing.
So we did a little intro before you logged on. We talked about your history of cover boy and being a gladiator and the Battle Dome and Odell and all that stuff.
Odell.
Yeah, I love that character.
Dude, I love it.
You were the only one that would come out with chicks on either side.
Yeah. Kind of says something, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was nice. So I want to go back to something I didn't even realize. But are you one of 9?
1 of 10, yeah.
So you have 9 siblings. You're one of 10.
Yeah.
Where do you fall in that pecking order?
I'm the youngest boy.
Oh, you are just like me.
Yeah.
So I'm the youngest of 8.
Great. 8. Holy shnikes, Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you, your bro, and your sister.
Yeah. And we have 5 more. All older.
I love that. It was
Yeah.
great. I mean, I know that you guys had a different kind of upbringing than I did, but for me, it was awesome. Awesome getting my ass kicked by my brothers, but also my sisters all did martial arts, so getting my ass kicked by them too kind of helped set a foundation.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So they were all athletes. Your family had some crazy genetics.
We were bred.
Yeah.
We were bred. Yeah, Dad was a football player and bodybuilder, and then Mom was a martial artist, and we all were raised in that kind of mentality. Downstairs was all the boys' rooms, and it wasn't really a room. It was like a basement with bunk beds. And then upstairs were all the girls, and the downstairs was all gym, so we just train. Now, you know this because Tito's a psycho.
Yeah.
And so I'm the youngest, and we couldn't go to bed because the one brother's still lifting. So that means the other brother's going to keep lifting.
Yeah.
And then the other brother will keep lifting.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going like that. And I'm the youngest boy, and I'm like, I'm going to keep lifting until all of you pass out. And then so the parents would have to just shut the power down. So
Wow, that's awesome. See, this is stuff I never heard before. I knew that you came from Washington State, right?
yeah, Kirkland, Washington. So it goes Michael Hearn, Bill Gates, Costco, not like Amazon and all that's there, but you know.
Right. You're still the king of the hill over there.
Yeah. I mean,
So you played football in high school.
yeah, football in high school, wrestled, powerlifted, bodybuilded. I started actually in junior high, competing in Olympic lifting and bodybuilding and powerlifting. So I started really young. I got lucky when this stuff came to it. I know you guys started young too.
Yeah.
When did you guys start lifting? How old?
So Tito's almost 6 years older than me. He started at, 13, 12, and I started there right with him. So I was, 7.
7, 8, 6,
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Do you have pictures from then?
He does. Yeah.
Because we're kind of going through all my family's photo albums and finding all these pictures and stuff. And the only before picture I have before I was jacked is at 9 years old. 8 years old. I look somewhat, but I'm ripped at 8 years old, and then everything else after that, I'm jacked.
Yeah.
Look at all the baby pictures.
We had pictures of me at 5 years old because I was obsessed with the Incredible Hulk. So I was doing this before I even knew what it was, just because of Lou Ferrigno. We had a lot of pictures. We lost a lot of it through the years, but Tito still has some. And yeah.
It's fun looking back, though, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we're doing it right now, so it's cool for us to see the old VHS tapes and all that stuff, and the wrestling matches and the old powerlifting meets, and just the photos of Olympic lifting at 13 years old, out there doing it and competing in bodybuilding at 14, and just seeing those pictures. Now looking back at the age I'm at now, it's what a road.
Yeah. Well, you appreciate it more now. For sure.
Yeah, I just never. If somebody says, "Hey, it's just consistency, day in and day out," you go, "Okay," but then somebody says, "Well, you've been consistent for 42 years."
Right.
Yeah. Okay, now it's a different world.
Well, that's why you've been successful, is because you don't sit and look at what you've done. You're more thinking about what you're gonna do. If you're constantly looking back, it's hard to move forward.
Yeah.
But once you're there, it's good every once in a while to take a peek and appreciate what got you there.
It is. I mean, I don't know about you. When did you start getting to the point of living in the moment?
Living in the moment, man.
Living in the moment. You win the show, you just sit on it for a while.
I didn't.
Hard. Yeah, it's a hard thing.
Yeah. It's funny. I see people, they win a big show that they've been working towards, and they'll cry or they'll break down. It's like everything lets go. Like when I finally won a big show, I won the Arnold. I put my hand up and smiled and was like, because I still hadn't reached my goal of winning the Olympia. It wasn't the end all be all for me, so I never got to the point where, this is it. I'm there. I guess I didn't accomplish my goal, in bodybuilding,
Do you think if you won the Olympia, or when you win the Olympia, do you think you'd be any different? We okay, guys?
Yeah, my building's fire alarm is going off. Bad timing here.
See? It's the only thing to count. It's too hot.
He's got to move to a house. He's in a big high rise in the middle of Boston.
How happy are you guys?
Very happy.
Patriots picking up
Cam Newton, baby.
That'd be interesting to see the coaching with him back there.
Well, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to allow for things to change more for his skill set. It's gonna look a little bit more like the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. Just let him go. Let him play football. He may not have many years left. Let him play. Let him run.
Be exciting, though.
Yeah, it is exciting. And I'm excited for Tampa Bay too.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Jumping back to, you think it'd be completely different? You winning the Olympia, and going, okay, now I can rest. I'm done. I'm put the gun down. Kind of an attitude, or?
Well, as far as competing, then yes, because I had some injuries catching up to me, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to. Had I won in 2015 when I placed second and arguably could have won, I don't think I would have stopped because I felt so good. You know, the training was 100%. I felt great. And it was merely a mere year later that I had knee surgery and things fell apart quick. So the best thing would have been, you know, at the Olympia that year to step away and just, you know, enjoy the moment, as you say. But I wasn't done. You know, I'm still not done. I'm still have it in my head that I want to try to see how strong I can be, how good I can look, how good I can feel. And I don't know that ever goes away, you know, for someone that's done it their whole life.
Yeah, I think you and I started so young, and we did it for, we like the trophies and all that stuff, but the bottom of the line, it's something that bleeds in us.
Right.
We like that battle. We like the work. And nobody trains like you and I do just because for the fans, right? Or for the trophy. We do it just because we're a little bit crazy.
Right.
And I don't think when it goes, it sets us like, okay, we're done. We're good. I'm ready for the next thing.
Yeah. No. There's a therapeutic aspect to it as well. You know, that's why it isn't for the fans or trophies. It's to make yourself feel better. You know, you always feel better after a hardcore workout where you're wobbling out of the gym, you know. You do it for yourself. And that's where I am today. There's no competition in sight. It's more I need to get back to feeling great again and feeling strong and having those endorphins flowing on a regular basis, you know. We've been shut down out here for 4 months. So we're sneaking workouts in when we can, going to shady places and getting, you know, some good training in. But it's not obviously what it used to be where you can on a regular basis and have all your meals ready. And, you know, it's just not the ideal situation right now, but we're making the best we can. What are you doing? Are you back at Gold's now?
We've been back a week. About a week at Gold's. But I have a gym at the house. I got a good setup.
Yeah, of course.
So we continued forward, and I was never concerned about the virus so much. So I was okay with my training partners coming over and training, and we kept the hype going throughout the whole time. The one thing we did do different, or I did different, is Mona gave me permission because I wasn't traveling and guest posing. She gave me permission to go off season for the first time in over 7 years. And then now, see, you understand this.
Yeah.
Most of the time I have to be in shape and sliced to the bone, guest pose, photo shoot, guest pose, and that breaks you down.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was nice to be able to go off season and just feel that strength again and that size again.
So what did you let your weight get up to?
I was 310.
310?
310.
Holy, when was this?
Not much more than a month ago. We started a slow slice now. I'm 298 pounds right now.
Did you feel good? Are you feeling strong?
It was that old school when I was 30, like in Battle Dump, I'd wrestle a freaking bear.
Yeah.
I would at least try it, you know?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, no, it felt great. And it was nice for the body to just, because I always get little dings, a little, you know, always and stuff, but you got to continue forward. And it just felt nice to be recovered. Also, just the body to adapt to carbohydrates again and just utilize them correctly again.
Yeah.
I mean, you know this as well as, I don't know if your fans understand this, but your body changes when you freaking change your nutrition for so long. And it rebounds, and it felt great just to be able to eat those carbs and eat with Mona and have that strength and have the body recover. And wake up the next morning going, oh, I'm recovered. Let's freaking go. So
Have some ice cream with Titan.
I didn't do anything like I didn't. Keith Evans is a bad influence, and he's around me a lot, but I don't cheat that like that.
Well, all right. So speaking of Heath,
Yeah.
he wanted me to ask you. He wanted me to ask you, why is it that you only film the sets where you beat him in lifts? How come he doesn't? How come you don't ever promote the sets where he smashes you?
Do you want to answer that, Jeff?
I can.
Mo, you want to answer that?
I can.
Okay. Let Mo answer it because she's the one that films it.
Come on, Mona. How you doing?
He can't even smash me. How is he going to smash Mike?
Oh,
There you go. Yeah.
You just killed him. I'm going to make sure I let him know.
Yeah, please. And tell him I did show you a flex, too. Just,
Look at that.
Big
So-
Natty.
That's where Titan gets it.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. I hope you guys doing good. How
We're
are
doing
you?
great. We're surviving out here. We get some
He
bad
hasn't
weather
been a
right
puppy
now.
yet.
I know. I see
Where's the
puppy
pup?
on Instagram.
He's inside. I'll get it. I'll bring you in there in a minute.
Okay, all right.
He's getting old, brother. He's almost 12 and his hips are gone. He's struggling, but he's a happy boy, and he's fighting for me every day.
12 is so good for that breed.
Yeah, for a newfie.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
It is, and he's still happy. Once it's just I get struggled getting him up and down the stairs. But
I know that when Elvis hit 12, 13, that hip dysplasia and stuff, it tears you up as a person. But they're like happy and stuff, and you're like,
yeah.
when is the time? It's just yeah. We won't
that's
go there.
the hard thing. Is that it's in the back of your head. You're just like, I don't want him to be in pain. I don't want him suffering. I don't, be selfish and keep him around when but he's still happy. So I'm not there yet.
You doing any time with him? Something special? Just him, you, the
Every
family,
day.
and you? Yeah, right?
Yeah, every day I lay on my front lawn and there's not much he can do. He can't even walk my neighborhood anymore. So I lay down with him, talk to him.
My buddy, the one I had for almost 20 years, Teddy Bear loved the water, so we'd take her down. But I'd carry to the water, and she would just get there, and she'd be the happiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
When the hips were going and stuff. But yeah, those moments are incredible.
Yeah, I would love to, and I think there's a place locally. It's just putting a 150-pound bear in the car to take him there is the issue. He's petrified of the car, and he thinks in the last 2 years, the only time he's gotten in the car was to go to the emergency room.
Yeah.
So,
There's probably a place in the house that he loves more than anywhere. And that's the best place to lay, wherever that is.
Yeah, exactly. And
my girl was the water, and we could get her there, or the gym. She loved the gym.
Yeah.
She'd sit by the door, like, open the door. I was like, there you go. And so
that's amazing.
We
Teddy,
crazy.
She what, 19, 18?
19 years old.
19-year-old dog. You don't hear that.
Yeah. It was like.
And she wasn't tiny.
I learned, huh?
And she wasn't like a small dog.
80 pounds.
Yeah, that's a good-sized dog.
My vet said he never saw anything like it. And one of the things I learned, for all you dog people, it's not about the stress that's at home. It's about the stress you bring to the home. And I didn't know that. But it was like when you walk in the house, if you were stressed out outside of the house, that scent is still on you, and you bring that. And that's the first thing the dog smells. And it breaks down the dog. And so I didn't know that. I would come home always happy. I'm ready to open the door. I know they're there. And it's like, I don't know what helped, what got her there for 19 years, but man, that was the greatest thing in the world for me.
Yeah, I love it. Maybe it was the same thing that O'Tren is ingesting. Did you give her some of your magic stuff?
It's all fake natties here.
Yeah.
It's all fake. So the dog lives 19. Most jacked, even though she just had a baby. I don't know. It's a different dimension in here.
Yeah. Some kid just asked me. We put up a post, said, ask some questions if you got them. And some kid asked, why does he block me? And I wanted to be like, well, it's probably not him blocking you. But why do you think he goes, I questioned him about being a fake Natty, and he blocked me. I'm like, why do you even have to ask? Like, come on. I would block you too.
I think it's funny they go, why do you block? Because I can.
Right.
It's my
I don't
page.
need negativity. What you
Yeah.
just said.
I got enough people in my life. If you're there for the wrong reason, you're
Right.
blocked. If you're there to start shit, you're blocked. If you're there, and you don't believe me, that's fine, but you're not popping off.
Right.
And if you're there because I was tested and came up natural, then fine, you're there. It's just the information I'm putting out. The one thing I don't want to do, and I realize I'm selfish at this now, more so, and my guys, my team is like, all right, but we still got to, give the information. I actually don't want to give the information to a whole bunch of tools.
Right.
There's
well, who don't appreciate it?
Yeah, I've been doing it for 42 years. Now that's just me. Now it's people around me that I've been around, and I've been around and trained with Arnold and Robbie, and they trained for how long? And so there's that knowledge, and then the knowledge builds and builds and builds. And so, just like you, we give that knowledge to them to try to help them. I don't need a whole bunch of little snowflakes crying over here because they're not as jacked as Mona.
Right.
There's going to be a point where they go, well, he's injury free. He's been training heavy for 40 years.
I just said that.
Maybe he's doing something right. Maybe. I don't know.
Or just maybe he was made to do this.
I was bred, so maybe I was. And more than anything is like, what's this kid going to get now? 1 year old. Shoulders, got a Christmas tree on the back. His calves and quads are stupid. He's 1 year old. What are you doing with him?
So he's going to run a 4.40 40 at 6'6", 310.
300. Yeah. Jack.
Right. He's got some shoes to fill.
Dude, I'm pumped about this. You can't coach size, right? You can't coach size. Whatever he chooses to do is cool, but we're going to give him all the best options we possibly can.
Yeah. Of course.
Mostly, can we change the DNA? Can we change our genetic makeup? Well, we're doing that by the way we live and train and eat. And I heard something that was amazing. A guy was on stage talking, and the one thing that registered with me, and I guess it's something that my parents did without me knowing, is that my ceiling will be my son's floor. And I thought, wow, I'm already getting him to this level.
Yeah.
And he gets to start here.
Right.
And with a mother like Mo, he'll appreciate it. He'll understand it.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped to see what happens, what goes on here. All my coaching to this little guy. And
he's happy. Every picture I see of him, the kid's having a ball. He's smiling. He looks like he's getting to enjoy a lot of fun, and that's important.
The house is fun. I mean, Mo had a good pregnancy. She was happy all the time. The way we took her off of lifting, took her out of the gym, and Mo's already an eater. With good genetics, but we even loaded her up more to make sure the child was getting everything and she was getting everything so she could be back in shape in no time without very little effort. And for a mid 40-year-old woman, you probably train women in their mid 20s that are going, I can't get rid of this baby fat. And now we got a 45-year-old woman that's ripped and ready to walk on stage, training 3 days a week, eating carbs throughout the whole day.
Right. Well, it's the consistency. That's the bottom line. Consistency.
Isn't there something else?
Genetics?
Isn't there something else? No, I mean, there's got to be a trick to this.
Yeah, there's got to be a magic pill, right?
Right. There's got to be something.
Yeah.
Why do they always go that way?
Well, because they think there's always an easier way. They think because you make it look easy, they think it's easy. You must be doing something easy.
It's got to be that way.
Yeah.
And we keep trying to tell them. You try to tell these kids, and I try to talk to. And when I'm talking to like my YouTube or doing anything like that, I'm actually talking to my young self. Because you know how I train.
Yeah.
Would you tell a young person to train like you train today?
Well, they
Or would
wouldn't
you
be
say
able.
back down a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
would tell my young self to back it down a bit.
yeah, you need to learn how to train. That's the most important thing, is learn how to do it right. And then you can slowly make improvements and push yourself and go to the next level. But if you're doing it wrong to begin with, you're destined for a nightmare if you're just pushing, but pushing the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was
funny.
lucky to have my older brother he was always the calming voice of reason, with everything I did. So, when we trained, he made sure I did everything the right way. He made sure that I was flexing my muscle and not just lifting weights, and when it came to lifting weights, I got stronger than everyone else because I was doing it right. By the time I was 14, I was benching 315. There was no one in my school that could do it, never mind a 14-year-old.
Nobody in your high school that could do it.
Right, exactly.
So you just said something I think so many people miss. And now that there's social media, which is great on one aspect, you get to interact with everybody around the world. I think that is incredible. I think it is a blessing.
Yeah.
The only problem I find with it is that everybody has an opinion, and an opinion from somebody that looks average to us, I guess,
Right.
is still the gospel. It's, well, this guy said this. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
You could say, I don't want to sit here all day long and say those 10 people that you just heard from are morons. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
It's a tough thing to dissect it, but what you just said was Tito was there from the get-go and taught you, first thing first, flex through the exercise. Don't just move through it.
Right.
There's a difference between a power lifter and a bodybuilder. Speed is a huge difference in form. Form, there's tons of ways to squat. There's not one way to squat.
Right.
And everybody says, no, there's one way to squat. No, there's not. There's
Right.
10 different ways to Sunday to squat. There's other ways to deadlift. It's like things can be changed up, moved around, and shaped differently for everybody. But some of the principles that stay the same is flex through the exercise.
Yeah.
Move through it and get something out of it. And you learn that at a young age, and that's why you were being able to play with 315 at 14 years old.
Right.
So it's a tough thing to try to fight the noise today with people out there trying to tell them, I got the best workout plan. And that's another reason why I block people, because if they come over and they start going, hey, well, why this, and this? Okay, those three questions. What percentage body fat should you be at? Well, it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
What's the best rep scheme? They're all great.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
you're missing the point here. There's a whole beginning stage to this.
The good
thing.
ones.
How do you, what's the best routine that I can stay on for the next 5 years? I don't know. How do you deal with that?
I tell it straight. A guy asked yesterday, he said, how come, I'm probably 8% body fat, but I want to get to 3 to 5%. He said, but I'm always hungry. How do I get to 3% without feeling hungry? I said, you don't. You can't get to 3% and not feel hungry. It's an impossibility. You'll feel like you're starving because you are.
Those are the best. Okay, I got here, but how do I get to there without any discomfort?
Exactly.
And I think the nicest guy, Stan Efferton, has a beautiful way of talking to people.
Yeah.
He's very kind. And at some point, he and I were doing a lecture together, and he just finally kind of goes to the guy and goes, well, I mean, at some point, it's self-discipline. You know that little thing, that self-discipline?
Yeah.
At some point, that comes into play.
Right.
But that hunger, we all feel it. But self-discipline, it's like it was a great way to do it. But it's like, I don't want to feel hungry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
It's kind of condescending yet very gentle and nice. You're like, if you don't know that this takes effort, then maybe this isn't for you.
Yeah.
Being the best at anything takes a lot of trials and tribulations and effort and work, suffering, sacrifice, all those words that people like to use. It's true.
I like when people talk about we don't get paid to work out. I never got paid to work out. That's not how I make a living.
Not at all.
I make a living a completely different way. It's
I wish
and
I
train
did.
4 in the morning. Yeah, it's like great. Only now with social media am I technically getting paid for working out.
Right.
But it's like I got a job. It's like, yeah, okay, all right. Whatever excuses you guys want to bring up, but it's which is nice now that I get to pick and choose. So the one-on-one clients, I only work with 20 one-on-one clients. That's it. Everything else is app-based or my Titan crew that I can talk to a large amount of people in a small space that are private. But the mindset on the small 20%, the small people that I train, savages.
Oh yeah.
They're all millionaires and a couple billionaires, and their
You got to be able to
mindset.
afford you.
But their mindset, it's like it's such a different world.
Well, they're billionaires for a reason, because they were the top dog, the one willing to work the hardest to get to where they got. So it's no surprise that they want to be the top dog in the gym or anything else that they do. So they go to the top dog to push them in there,
Yeah, but I think back to your point is the effort and how much time are you willing to give and all this stuff. These are guys that work 7 days a week, but it's not work because it's fun.
Right.
That's the one thing I'll say about me. My career has never been work. It's been fun, doing training and doing what I do and being able to beat up guys as Odell or gladiators and stuff.
Yeah.
Only downside wearing spandex, but everything else has been just a blast and fun to do this stuff. So,
yeah. You ever heard that term, find a job that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life?
it is true.
It is.
All those cliches, all those little memes and those things, and the things that are, guiding people, our mentors when we were younger, all the stuff they said is 100% true on everything they said.
Absolutely.
If I knew now what I, at this age, when I was younger, I'd own the world. That stuff's all true. Find something that you love and you'll make money from it sooner or later. All that kind of stuff. You put the work in, you're willing to do it. And stress. I know that we're talking about this so people understand this. And when you guys are watching this, understand stress is a big thing. Working 7 days a week, what I do is no stress.
Right.
None. And I don't mind getting up at 3 a.m. and going to bed at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock and shutting it down 7 days a week. I don't mind it. There's no stress compared to the guy that's going 9 to 5 and has the time in the morning, has time at night to do whatever he wants and only works 5 days a week. But he's doing something he doesn't like. That's stress. So that whole time thing is a huge difference.
So you need to find something that doesn't stress you out or stresses you less, where you're somewhat enjoying it. Because those are the miserable people you see in life. Walking around fucking angry all day, Dude, find something else to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here.
Arnold said something funny, and I remember that because when we diet, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's not a picnic. It's tough. But Arnold said something funny. He says, all these guys were dieting down when he was dieting. And they're all looking miserable, angry. And I'm over here smiling up a storm.
Yeah.
And his approach to it is priceless.
Yeah.
And that's why I still think today Arnold is the greatest for me. And is like his approach to it is like, we get to do this. We're choosing this. I know it's tough, but it's a fun tough.
Yeah.
And I'm happy, even though I'm miserable dieting and it's a pain in the ass and getting ready for a show is tough. It's still fun. It's still lovable. And if you're walking around angry and pissed off and you're angry at your girlfriend because you're dieted down and all this, that maybe you're in the wrong thing. Maybe it's a little too much.
100%. I think the more successful ones were able to enjoy it. I don't think you ever see Jay Cutler miserable because he was dieting, or Ronnie Coleman. Any of the top guys, anyone that was really successful at it, I don't think you ever saw them miserable dieting. it was part of the challenge. It was part of what you had to do to be where you're at, you know?
We like that.
Right.
And I think that's why we're odd birds, but I think it's not so odd as it is we found that passion, not motivation, but that passion to do something that we really love.
And we're lucky. So listen,
yeah.
my boy Nate has a bunch of questions. I don't want to take too much of your time, so I want to rattle off a bunch of questions, and we can like do them rapid fire, and I'll throw some in too. I want to let him come in now and ask you. He's not going to ask you anything stupid, so.
I'll freaking block his ass in 2 seconds. This show is over.
You're blocked, Nate. Go ahead. Turn your mic back on.
How about now?
Good.
Good, perfect. Yeah, sorry, nonstop fire alarm going off here, so I muted it. So I went back up a little bit to when you were asking Jose about if you lived in the moment competing and kind of walking away. What was it for you that allowed you to walk away from competing in bodybuilding, getting on stage and moving on to acting, photo shoots and all that? Like, can you talk about that moment where you were just like, I'm good competing. I don't need to keep doing this.
Two things. I got lucky. First of all, let me clarify this, because this is something I struggle with. I struggle with living in the moment. The rare time that I ever do live in the moment is when I'm with my dogs. For some reason, they pull me out of the craziness and make me appreciate just the moment, mostly my old puppies. As for the walking away from powerlifting or the universe, I won the universe the 4th time, and when I won it the 4th time, I instantly got another TV show called Battle Dome. And I realized at that time, too, it was around the same age that Arnold was moving on from what he did to the next stage. Because when you think of Arnold, you think bodybuilding, right? But the first time he retired was at 28. Already done. 28, done. Hit it, won it, got out. And nobody thinks of that. I don't think they really comprehend that it was so young, because he had to move on to the next thing, acting, and then move on to the next thing, politics, and so on and so forth. And I wanted to do a similar thing. I did the shows. It's like, why am I still competing? I won, and I created the physique, which is this is a hugest thing. I created a physique that I liked, regardless of I won, but regardless of their opinion of it, I was happy with the physique that I created. And so I said, all right, I created my masterpiece. I can walk away to the next thing now. Let me spend more time with the TV shows and all that. So that was a huge step for me. Where most of my competing, or most of my life, the finance didn't come from competing in magazines and stuff like that, or endorsements. It came from real modeling outside of the health and fitness industry or real estate. So financially was from another world. And then TV money is TV money. So that helped a lot for more of my real estate. With that being said, when somebody competes, and so this I hopefully will help somebody, if you're competing to win a show, that's a tough one, because it's apple and oranges. And it's like Jose just said, he could have won the Olympia. They gave it to somebody else. So do you keep fighting, or do you go, well, what is my physique? What's the ultimate that I want to look like? And if these 9 judges don't appreciate it, I'm the one that has to appreciate it. And so if you do a show and you walk in and you do your best, and you walk out, there's a huge thing for an individual to be satisfied with their own physique. Does that make sense to you and to the fans? Would that make, because I want them to know that sometimes there's been tons of Mr. Universes. There's been tons of Mr. Americas and national champions, but it's the individual that makes the title. It's not the title that makes the individual. So do the show, create your physique, and then walk on. And so for me to walk on was, I've won it enough. I need to move on to the next object.
Did you have siblings that competed in powerlifting or bodybuilding as well?
Powerlifting, bodybuilding, and martial arts. And that was also my sister's. My sister placed, she won the Seattle, the Washington, took 4th of the North Americans. My brother won the Washington. Another brother also won the Washington powerlifting. And then my other sister won the karate, Kempo karate, Washington State, black belt division. And so we all battled and battled, and everybody competed. And my sisters are freaky, and all my older brothers got these crazy ass legs.
You guys are like the modern day, or the previous John Jones family, Chandler Jones, John Jones. Everybody's a star athlete.
Mike, do you think you had the best genetics of the family, or you just had the drive to continue in that way?
I saw the problems, to be truthful, with steroids, and what it does to the mind. I was very, very young, and my brothers and sisters were very young, but a lot of them did the steroids.
Oh, wow.
And the one thing I saw was expand, and then they'd come back down. And then they'd get bigger and stronger, and then they'd come back down. And during this whole process of them doing this, I kept just doing this. It just slow pass. And at a certain point, because they had to keep going back to that at such a young age, they just kind of got burnt out and said, I don't want to do that no more. And they lost. Genetic wise, I don't think it was. I think is that I saw a different route. I saw something different, and I said, if I just put in the work day in and day out, and be willing to give up my life in a sense of parties and drinking or whatever, and just continue to put the work in, I might be able to create something here. And then by the time I got to 20 and I was with Joe Weider, and he said, hey, your physique is great the way it is. You don't need to look like this. And when Joe Weider says that to you, and then what I want to do with my life, I'm like, good. I don't have to go a different route for me. And so I never got mentally distorted by how my brothers and sisters did it. And I just continued forward. I think some of them would have crushed me, but I think the work ethic for me and the dream for me just stayed true to it. And I got lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. I saw the right things, and I saw some bad things. And I think that helped. It helped me quite a bit.
So I got another question from a fan, a friend of mine, actually, Shane. It may come off corny, but it's a great question. Like, you looking the way you do, being who you are, let's face it, you're a superstar, particularly within the fitness world, but well-known throughout. Is there a certain stress that comes with that to look a certain way? I know you have the passion to do it anyway, but is there certain times that you have a stress like, oh, I'm 310 today. I don't want people to see me. They used to see me at 260 shredded, Is there some stress that comes with that?
There is a stress that comes with that. And I noticed that over the last couple of years. And because it's first of all, it's an honor, and I appreciate that the fans like me, which they're the ones that make me famous in the fitness world and stuff. But, like today I just found out Jeter, Derek, is a fan. And he's like, dude, how strong is this guy? How big is, and how old is he? And all this. And I'm like, wow. And there's that whole, well, right now he's like a monster. And I'm like, there's a whole thing, mostly for the last 10 years, I've been sliced to the bone all the time. So at 310 now, it's like it's a whole different Mike. Now they're seeing the 30-year-old Mike. Because when I was 30, I could go off season, I could get big and strong. There's a pressure that goes with it. What I try to do is go back to I need to preserve myself, bottom line. Because as you know this, as strong as you get on social media, strength-wise, people will say, go up, and they'll push you to go harder and harder. No matter how well you look, ripped, they'll go, oh, you could get better. And so there will always be them trying to push you to the edge.
Right.
For me, I got to stay realistic and just go, okay, I need to regenerate. I need to get healthy, make sure everything's functioning good, let my body recover with carbohydrates, and then go back to it. So he's a great question because there's always pressure on you to look good.
Yeah, of course. So you brought up your 30s version of you. That's when I met you, when you were 30. And I was telling Nate yesterday, I'm like, it's really hard for normal people to comprehend how big Mike is. I'm like, we were both wrestlers, so we were training one day, and you started dicking around and like, squaring off on me, and I did it back to you, and then you threw a kick, and it was a total light kick, like you were just kidding, and it didn't hurt, but I could tell from the force of your leg, and you were at least 285 at the time, and I'm like, he could have easily broken my leg if he wanted to. Like, that's when I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, I backed off. I'm like, I'm more high five. Like, we're not really gonna wrestle. But your leg was the size of both of my legs, and you came down like on my thigh with a shin, and it was so soft, but it hit me in just the right spot that if you put any amount of effort, my leg would have broken half. And I'm like, oh, this guy's scary. I told him that story yesterday.
that was some peak size and strength back then.
Yeah. You were probably 30, 31. You were like
285.
Yeah, 285, but lean. You weren't fat.
Right.
You didn't have the what is that? The cover model face.
There's a picture on the wall behind my team here, and it's me on stage at 285 at Battle Dome. But it's like, there's no knees. It's all quad.
Yeah. No, you weren't. It wasn't ready for a romance cover at that time.
No.
But
it looked good.
Yeah, you had abs and everything.
Girls.
Yeah. So, all right.
That's a great question, though. It's funny that I'm out here with the with Hollywood and stuff, and it's like there's something about always trying to be on, always try to be
ready
to go and stuff. So there's times you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Nate, what's the other ones?
Nate, what do you got for me, big dog?
So in this modern era, social media, you got all these influencers making YouTube videos. Oftentimes, I was telling Jose, punching up at someone like you, right? They're not on anyone's radar, and so they start taking shots at people with millions of followers, hoping that you'll get annoyed and punch down to them, and that your followers will know. But in this era of social media and influencers, Jose and I look at these people and we're like, who are they? What do they do? They don't look like much. You're kind of the OG of it. Of like, once you stopped competing, you're able to, I guess, make a living by documenting what you're doing and saying, train like me, look like me. But there's real substance there. It's not some kid that within 2 years put on 20, 30 pounds, doing God knows what, and is now an expert with 1 million followers, So can you talk to adapting to the business of social media? One of the things that's always fascinating me about you is that you have your hand in many different areas. And I'm assuming have been able to make a really good living, not being on the stage, not being tied to one thing. You're constantly evolving, or your image, your brand is tied to other brands. And it would seem you're able to get multiple revenue streams coming from multiple different places, either through, like you mentioned, training specific individuals, doing the apps, doing the YouTube, working with, say, meal prep companies like Icon Foods, now having your supplement line. I think that's an area that a lot of people are missing, people in the fitness industry, right? They come to it saying, I need to get jacked, maybe I need to compete, and then a supplement company comes to me and hands me the big contract. And then I made it. And clearly you've established multiple paths so that you're not at the mercy of, I just got dropped by the supplement company, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I think one of the first things I did say about social media that I think is great is there's something about the old school guys. We all, and Jose, you know this, is that we had to, for the magazines, we couldn't be a hypothetical or just a TV face. We actually had to be a champion. We had to win a bodybuilding show. We had to win powerlifting or whatever it was to get in the magazines. We had to look a certain way to get in the magazines. So we had to appease the owners of the magazine, physique-wise. So we had to have some kind of substance. Today, you don't need that. Today, somebody asked me, how do you become a TV or a influencer? Have an email. Got an email? Start a YouTube channel. Start an Instagram page. Here's the good thing and the bad thing. The good thing is if you've got a personality and there's something about you and it clicks, you're famous. You're famous quickly. You could be in Iowa. You could be 21 years old with an okay physique by yourself with nobody next to you, and you could be a champion within a year. The problem with that is the downside of that is then you're giving off knowledge that you don't have. Somebody said the other day, which is mind blowing to me. An educated person said that the book smarts is the ultimate. Absolutely not. It's book smarts is great, and that gets you open. But it's the experience and the time that gets you so much more. So when it comes to health and fitness and being a social media person, understand it's going to take time. Understand you need other revenues. So if you got to stay personal training as you're doing the YouTube channel and building up your stuff, do it, because that's also really good experience to learn. I learned young that real estate was a big thing. So that's something I've done my whole career. So it allowed me not to stress about the health and fitness world. So in that sense, that helped me too, which is there's a beautifulness to being relaxed and letting things come. There's a craziness of trying to fight for everything. So what you're talking about is these guys, hey, I want the supplement company. I need this. Yeah. And there's that stress that goes along with that need, right? I got to pay rent. I got to pay rent. Try to find something that's balanced and understanding. I was willing to work my ass off when I first got to LA. Even though I got an endorsement with Weeder and he brought me down to California, I still bounced at night. I still got my butt up 2 hours later to go personal train at 4 a.m. And even though I had Gladiators for 3 months filming for the year, I would still be doing the bouncing, which is probably to most people like, why would you bounce? You got a TV show, your personal trainer, you got an endorsement. That's all for the now. You don't know what's next year. We don't have 9 to 5s. We don't got retirements. So understand that you're going to have to put some early work in. But understand this too. Don't copy nobody. Don't make a fictitious character. And I see these kids doing that. They're hyping themselves up. This is my gimmick. You know, I scream and yell all through my workout. That's my thing. It's like, you can't maintain that stuff. I mean, you know Jose, man. Jose's Jose. Nobody else like him. His brother, man, still to this day, my best training partner ever. It's be yourself, be unique, be patient on the YouTube and the fame. Don't buy followers. Don't buy anything like that. Let real people come over there. Some of the most successful people I know on social media have 50,000 followers, and they're making millions. Right. It's not the guy like, you know, that has 2 million followers because he looks good. They're not buying nothing from him. All right, you got great abs. I'm just staring at you. There's a huge difference between substance. So I hope that kind of answers your question. I know what you're saying, because everybody wants to be famous.
One follow-up that you mentioned earlier, kind of what you would tell younger Mike in terms of training, right? Or what we would tell our younger selves when we started off. What would you tell younger Mike in terms of business with what you know now?
Patient, trust less people. Stay in your lane. Get great people around you. Everything, every aspect, get somebody that knows more than you. If I got a social media guy, he knows more about computers than I do. I don't want to tell him what to do. If you're filming, you know, get somebody that's better than you. Don't govern everything. Don't micromanage. And don't be hungry or a lust for the fame and money. Don't do it. You can't maintain it. That hunger to be famous or rich, work for it, 100%. Work for it, but don't lust for it. There's a huge difference. I don't know if I'm expressing it correctly, but there's a huge difference because if you want to be famous and that's your goal, it's not going to happen. It's just, fame is something that if everybody likes you and stuff like that, it's a fictitious thing. It's not really, you know, not everybody likes you when you're famous and stuff. So it doesn't change anything. And then the money aspect of it is just work your ass off for the money and be smart with it. Don't be a showboat. Be smart. The stuff is I'm at this stage where I can look back at my young, because I was in the magazines by 17 years old, and me talking to my young self, I would just say be patient, slow down a little bit. Again, something that I would work on is try to live in the moments. Those moments are the biggest things in the world, and that's what you'll remember. It's not winning the show; it's about the workouts you had with your buddy, laughing your ass off in the gym. Was more growth to me as an individual and as a person than it was winning the show.
Mike, can you talk a little quick, or do you want to, about the new supplement situation you got going?
I'd love to, man. I'm not an athlete of BPI. I'm a business partner of BPI, and so I am working with them, and they're working with me, and we put together supplements that are beneficial that I believe. One is a cream, because you know this as well as I do. You guys know that I don't care how old you are, if that skin is not right, everybody thinks, I want the muscles, I want the muscles. That's great. But if your skin is terrible, it doesn't matter how good you look. And I mostly with the guys I work with today, these millionaires that are 50 years old that just destroyed their lives physically, their body. And now they're like, well, now I want to look good. Well, come on. I mean, we got a lot of work to do, but the skin is so important. So that's one of the main things I want to do is healthy skin. Second one, again, is, you'll understand this, is joint support. And I would tell my young self, joint support is the most key point, more than anything else. The more we can lift, the more we can recover and have the healthy connective tissue and the cartilage and all that, the more we can continue this life, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're dealing with the knee thing, and you come back from that. It's those little things. Yeah. And then I got a pre-workout with no stim, with also an estrogen blocker in it, and then a test booster that every guy's girlfriend is going to be happy about, if you know what I mean. Right, Mo?
So when is this coming out? When can we expect to see this?
It's worldwide.
It already did.
Launched and worldwide.
All right,
I'm off to yeah, so you can go over to BPI no matter where you are and get it off of BPI's line, or we're going
what
to
is it? The Titan series?
Titan series. Mike O'Hearn approved Titan series.
All right, we're going to put a link to it and try to help promote that in any way we can.
I appreciate that, brother.
And I got one last thing, and I know you recently lost a close friend. Want to send my condolences, and my brother was ripped apart by that as well. He called me the day that the world lost Shad, and what an awful, awful thing. But I did get to meet him once or twice with you out there. He was the only guy in there that was taller than you that I could see. But what a nice guy. Can you elaborate a little bit on what he meant to you?
He was a big part of my life because I met him at a time where he finished wrestling and moved to LA, and I was in a transition period, and so it was good timing to meet. And he was just a great friend for me and a huge alpha male. If you guys don't know this guy, he's 6'5", 6'6", 285 pounds. But we had a lot of similarities because he was a monster as a child. And so we had that growing up mentality of being beasts at 17, 18. And we spent a lot of time together, but he changed my life because it was funny. And the hardest thing in the world is talking at a funeral about somebody you love. It was the hardest thing. And I got everything out, but man, I was crying and talking and all this stuff. It occurred to me because I'm sitting there thinking about what am I going to talk about, and he showed me about what true friendship can do. When I first met him, I tried to help him out and stuff, so I got him a car, gave him a car to help him out. That's what friends do, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I'm the good friend here. But with the years going by and his support to me and stuff, what I didn't realize is that he introduced me to Mona. She was a friend of his, And then he kept talking to me about family and stuff. And now I have a child, little Titan. And so with time, we were sitting there on the couch and stuff, and I'm sitting there watching Mona, and she's pregnant at the time, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, now that's what friends do. And so it's just a realization of me thinking that a financial gift was something when I was younger. And then what he gave me was an actual family.
Right.
And with true love and friendship, that's what it can do. And that's what he did for me. So his imprint on me and this family is ginormous. So to lose somebody like that, mostly you know what he looked like and what he was.
Yeah.
To lose him the way he was at 39, again, I go back to everybody that's listening to this. I don't care how young you are, old you are, man. Tomorrow's not promised to nobody. Start living it. And I know that's cliche, but start living it.
Well, that's
Start
real.
living life. It really is, man. He's 39 years old, and you tell me that, you call me and tell me that he's going to drown in the ocean?
No
This
way.
guy? I never believe in a million years. And so it's a tragic thing, but it makes you think that life's so valuable. Mostly with everything else that's going on now in the world, with it being so ugly right now, it's like, how do you separate that ugliness with how you are as a person right now, and how can you grow? So much to go over, brother.
Yeah, that's a good word for it too. Ugly. That
Ugly.
describes the whole world right now.
Man, and you were saying it when we got on, man. I'm out here with these guys that are what they're asking for. I don't know, man. It's a weird world we live in. It's I don't understand.
You stay out of politics pretty much, don't you? I don't see you being much of an activist on certain.
I just go off of what the graphs and what society was doing. I go off of that we were doing great. Economy was doing great. America was doing great. Somebody was voted into office. Let's try to support the guy that's voted. I don't want that job. I couldn't imagine the pressure of that job, the president. But if he's doing a good job there, I would just try to support him, not knowing anything else except that we're doing good in America. And so, I don't know. It's a tough thing, man. Everybody's so angry right now, and everything's so up and down.
Can you imagine trying to do that job with that many people whose lives are specifically designed to take you out, to take you down?
Let me ask you this. Imagine that job with everybody just trying to help you.
Right.
It's a tough job, just with everybody on your side.
Right.
But now you got a whole world against him, and he's trying to do the job. I'm like, the world is just trying to, which is tough. It's tough to see the whole world trying to implode, or a certain portion of people just trying to make America terrible.
Right.
At some point, you got to go, hey, we're in America. However, it was, it's so deep to get into, but it's
right.
Like, I don't know why people are trying to make life harder than it is. It's already tough.
Right.
Tough life that we live.
Make it great. Make America great again.
Make it great again, man.
Yeah.
I don't want that job.
No, me neither. Nate, do you have any closing thoughts?
So one more question, and kind of some. So, you mentioned stopping bodybuilding, kind of in that Arnold-esque way of I have other things I want to do. Did American Gladiators, Battle Dome, various acting things. What's next? What is it that you haven't done yet that you'd like to do? What's going to be that next phase for Mike O'Hearn?
Oh, I mean, that's great. We are working with Barry Levins right now on a TV series, Hercules, that we're getting for Netflix. So we're pumped about that. Everything's on hold now because of the lockdown and everything, but we're working on that. So that will be a very a crazy good thing, man. It's cool because I always like that barbaric type of attitude and character, and this one's going to be a Game of Thrones, very dark and gritty and tough guy, relative to what they were just released a couple of years ago with Conan. Because I was up for Conan, It was down to the final guys and stuff, but didn't get that one. So this will be a great acting thing for me. With everything else, we're really, man, 70% now really into real estate and continue buying. And now, we're Alabama, California, New York. So we got a lot of real estate, commercial real estate, and that's going great. Learjet, that'd be nice. Next thing, Learjet.
Good for you.
So fly out to Boston.
What role will you be in Hercules?
Okay.
Hey,
But no, dude, that's gonna be freaking awesome. Let me see the pup.
I know. Before you go, I want to show you. He's sleeping, but he'll wake up for you.
I'm going to get my guy too, my little Frenchie.
I love it. Momo, you bring Panda?
Can you see him? Chewy.
Oh, shit. Mo, look at this. Look at the big bear.
Can you see him?
Yeah, I got him.
Chewy.
Look at those meat hooks.
Look at that paw. Hey.
Oh, you got the little one. Look at you two.
Look at the boy. He's awesome. Sleeping. Oh, look at that one. That's
What's
Panda.
up?
I love it. How old is Panda now? 2?
2, 3.
3. Wow, that's a great picture. We got to screenshot that. That's beautiful. Oh, look at that. So you have 3 now?
Yeah, we got this one, which is a woolly husky. We have Striker's still with me, which is awesome.
Old
and then
Striker?
we got Striker is 11.
11. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I hate saying that. And then we got a Timberwolf.
A Timberwolf.
A Timberwolf is dad was a wolf and mom was a husky.
Wow.
So she's got the yellow eyes and she's got a brownish. But she's a freak. And the
Is
hair
she big?
stands up different. Where is she? You got eyes on her?
How big will she get? Will she get big or like
100
pounds?
Yeah, female, 100 pounds, but she's structurally different. She's structurally
more intimidating.
They're very long and hippie, but her personality, you would think a wolf is more aggressive. They're less aggressive. It's funny.
Really?
Yeah, they go to the master. They have to be appeasing to the master. Yeah, bring her here. Oh, come here, knucklehead. Oh, got it. Oh.
This is a Timberwolf?
This is their.
Oh, wow. Oh,
What's up?
wow. Look at that face. Look at the eyes. Does she look like brown? I think I have seen her.
Yeah.
Wow. And
So-
how old is she? She's the newest?
She's two.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's funny. Her personality is so loving.
Yeah.
So loving.
And Titan gets along great with all of them?
She's fine with all of them, which is awesome. And then the house is fun. I don't know if you ever see what the house is like, but there's always somebody here. There's always like Heath is here or the guys are here.
Yeah.
So Titan's around monster of guys all the time, which we didn't get into. I would like to talk again because I'd like to talk and go really into depth on our upbringing, what set our mindsets up. Because our mindsets were set for the battle when we were younger.
Yeah.
Our beliefs were set that we could achieve anything. And I know that today people are so, kids are so, I hate saying snowflakes, but they're very soft in a sense.
Right.
Where they're wishy-washy. I don't know if I can make. I don't know.
That's the right word.
Okay, because I know for a fact if I met you at 17 and I said, "Hey, are you going to be a freaking badass when you grow up?" You wouldn't have. By the time I finished my sentence, you said, "Hell yeah, I am."
Yeah.
I'll
I am
tussle, I'll do whatever. It don't matter.
Yeah.
I know you because I know your brother. I know your brother before he was married.
Yeah.
And I know him now as a father. It's like it don't matter if something happens to the kids. If somebody says something or anything, he'd snap in a second and take the guy's head off. So
Yeah.
I know how you guys are, but that's a mindset that you guys were given as kids.
Yeah.
And I know that when I was raised, 9 years old, in that family, it was become a badass, take care of yourself, and make shit happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like we lost that somewhere. America's lost that somewhere with the upbringing, with the give a kid a trophy just for showing up, give a kid a trophy for going to school for 5 days. You're supposed to go to school for all week.
Oh man, graduation parties for 5th grade, and like there's a party every weekend for these kids.
And I hate some of the old guys, but it just seems the softer we get as parents, the weaker our kids get, and for some reason they think that that's a good thing. No, you got to go easy on them. You got to be hard. It's like, which I'm lucky about having a baby mama from Romania that grew up on dirt floor in an outhouse.
Right.
It's like baby's putting his finger in the light socket. She got, well, that wasn't our problem. We didn't have light sockets. And then she comes to America, makes herself a multimillionaire, not even speaking the language at that time. And it's like, what's wrong with Americans that are complaining about America?
Because they don't want to work.
They don't want to work.
Yeah. I think the less you have growing up, the more you're willing to work for it. And that's
any of these people traveled overseas and gone to Russia, Kuwait, or any of these other countries and stuff and saw what it's like to live somewhere else, they'd come back and go, hey, my bad. Yeah. We're doing pretty good. And that's not political. That's just somebody that's traveled the world and seen the world.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I love that.
I want to go into depth on your mindset and how we were raised and we were around such people, because we didn't even talk about this. You were trained by one of my idols, Jeff King.
Tito
trained with Jeff King, and but just being around somebody like that. I know that you guys watching this won't know who Jeff King is, but so go Google Jeff King, 84 Mr. America, good-looking guy, great body.
He was the only guy that possibly could have taken out Haney. He was the only one, and they never let him compete.
Never let him.
Yeah, he got suspended because he did a AAU event. He was the AAU Mr. America.
Right.
And they wanted to make him do nationals to turn pro. And he's like, I am pro. What do you mean? He didn't understand the politics back then.
Yep.
So he never actually was an IFBB pro. And, man, what a shame, because that guy, he had a neck like your thighs.
Dude. And he was a stud.
Yeah.
And he was a baller. So he was like, and train hard and stuff. But let's hook up here in a couple of weeks again and go over mindset for kids.
I look forward to it.
We'll keep it off of you and me and what we are now, bitter old men.
Yeah.
How American. And we'll just keep it on this kids.
Mike, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for your time. And, it means a lot. I know you're a busy dude. But we'll do it again, and we'll talk soon.
I love it, man. Thank you both, man. I appreciate you guys taking time. Beautiful there, brother.
All right, brother. Thank you.
That backyard. Thanks for showing the pups.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys.
All right, we'll
talk
see
soon.
you.
Bye.
Bye.